Ever felt like a total failure? Like you just weren't made for this world, where everyone else seems to fit in so perfectly? When every test you take ends in disappointment, every effort feels useless, and you start to wonder if something is wrong with you. This is exactly how I felt. A boy who tried again and again, only to fall harder each time, until one unexpected moment changed the entire direction of my life. School was a battlefield. I lost every single day. Math, science, history. The letters and numbers just swam around on the page, refusing to make sense. My report cards were a sea of red ink, each failing grade a fresh wave of disappointment for my family and teachers. They'd say, "He's just not trying, right?" But honestly, that wasn't me. I was drowning, and no one could see it. My confidence was shattered. I started to believe them. Maybe I really was a failure. I'd spend hours staring out the window, doodling on scraps of paper. It was my only escape. Little characters, strange patterns, logos for imaginary companies. In my little sketchbook, I wasn't a failure. I was a creator. One day, a friend saw my doodles. He was starting a small band and needed a logo. He had no money, so I offered to do it for free. I spent the entire weekend on it, using a cheap set of colored pencils. The feeling of seeing my design on their first flyer, it was electric. It was the first A I'd ever truly earned. That small favor lit a fire in me. I started offering to design things for anyone who'd let me. Posters for school events, birthday cards for friends, even menu designs for a local cafe. I used free software I found online, watching countless tutorials, practicing day and night. My bedroom, once a prison of failed homework, became my design studio. Every completed project was a small victory, a piece of my confidence rebuilt. People started noticing. "Who did your logo?" they'd ask my friends. Slowly, referrals started trickling in. Of course, the doubters were still there. "It's just a hobby," some relatives would say. "You need a real job, a proper education." The pressure to conform, to go back to the path I had failed on, was immense. There were times I almost gave up, times when a client was difficult or a design just wouldn't work. But then I'd remember the feeling of that first logo, the feeling of creating something from nothing. That feeling was my anchor. I saved up every penny I earned from my small projects. I bought a better computer. I invested in professional software. I built a simple website to showcase my work. What started as a hobby, slowly, painstakingly, transformed into a small business. The boy who couldn't pass a single exam was now running his own company, creating brand identities for businesses and helping them tell their stories visually. My journey wasn't about proving anyone wrong. It was about proving myself right. It was about discovering that the system I was failing in wasn't the only system that existed. Failure in one area doesn't mean you are a failure as a person. It's often a signpost, pointing you toward a different path where your true talents lie. Don't let your grades or someone else's opinion define your worth. Look for that thing that makes you feel alive, that one thing you do not do because you have to, but because you can't imagine not doing it. That is where your true potential is waiting. Your biggest failure might be the best thing that ever happens to you. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to look for your own unique spark.